Good morning everyone. Basa na tayo natin libro guys. Kapwa ako Filipino, magbasa na tayo natin history. History of the Filipino people by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Mabilis ang lang to, basa kasi ilang pages lang. Punta na tayo sa part 5, The Warriors. Parang ang hirap-hirap pala ng dinanas natin ng araw. Puro gera. So, nandito tayo sa History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 21 February 2023. History of the Filipino People, Part 4. Pero last na itong babasahin natin sa Part 4, guys. Sabi ko nga sa Part 5 na tayo bukas. The American Period. Topic number 21. Results of the American Occupation. Nandito tayo sa paragraph, negative results. Ito na yung last paragraph ng results of the American occupation. Basa. Negative results. The American occupation has its same side in the intimate contact of two peoples. The good and the bad sides of the occupying power are inevitably adopted by the colony. As a people, the Filipinos are of pupils. As a people, the Filipinos are up pupils and need not be whipped into line to perform foreign tricks. They are naturally imitative and can out-Spanish or out-American a Spaniard or an American. Thus, many Filipinos take pride in describing the Philippines not only as the only Christian country in the Orient, which means nothing, but also as the most westernized country in the Orient. The economic invasion of the Philippines, ibig sabihin tayo lang ang Christian. So alam niyo na yung kaya pala yung mga karatig bansa natin puro sila Islam. Nakalagay Thus, many Filipinos take pride in describing the Philippines not only as the only Christian country in the Orient, which means nothing, but also as the most westernized country in the Orient. The economic invasion of the Philippines brought the American mode of living close to the Filipinos. American goods and services were at first considered luxuries. After 45 years of occupation, they became necessities. This conditioning of the Filipino mind to the American standard of living has made them economically dependent on the United States. The result is the neglect and consequent death of Filipino industries. No one now hears of the baliwag huts or of the Malabon textile or of many Filipino delicacies. They have been replaced by American goods, which the Filipinos, in their sense of false pride, calls stateside. Also yung stateside nung araw. Is your pair of shoes stateside? Is your car imported from the States or assembled here in the Philippines? Such questions, though silly or pretentious, are common. If it is a stateside, it is the best. If it is made in the Philippines, it is inferior. The mental attitude that despises one's own and loves anything foreign is the natural result of American altruism. Bolstered by propaganda. Pero sabi ko nga, ngayon guys, meron tayong love your own country. We love our own country. While the Spaniards almost killed the Filipinos by maltreatment, the Americans, on the other hand, almost smothered the Filipinos with kindness. The Spaniards obtained the Filipinos by inflicting physical and spiritual injuries on them. The Americans obtained the Filipinos by pampering their stomach. The first became a negative factor in the development of Filipino nationalism. The second became a positive factor in the defelinization of the Filipinos. Thus, while enjoying the blessings of America, the Filipinos suffered a partial loss of the racial heritage, the ties that bind the family, have been loosened. The love of their language and culture has been replaced by the adoration of the American language and culture, and the traditional communal unity was to a certain extent been superimposed upon by the livable enough alone philosophy. This softening of the Filipino spine, which resulted from too much American canned goods, in turn resulted in the persistence of the colonial mentality. Having developed an extreme liking for things American without critical evaluation of their intrinsic worth, the average Filipino considers it blasphemous to criticize the United States or any American. A Filipino who places his country's interest first and foremost is branded an anti-American, for he does not consider the American incapable of erring. Naturally, the Americans encourage this menial attitude, for it is to their self-interest that the Filipinos continue thinking of America and the Americans with something akin to awe. Nothing like America is a phrase that has sunk into the subconscious of the average Filipino, even if in trying to be charming and kittenish. To humor his former master, he is in turn despised and looked down upon as a prehensile moron. The average American materialism, which finds expression in an inordinate love of material possessions, found a virgin soil in the ordinary Filipino mind. The movies have been the purveyor of American materialism, for they show the advantages of having flashy cars, mink coats, large and well-appointed houses, refrigerators, television, and radio sets, and such other appurtenances as would make for success. Success is measured in terms of material possessions. He is successful who earns a fast buck. He is successful who has made millions out of nothing. He is successful if, in spite of his illiteracy, he wins a congressional or municipal seat. The people as a rule have lost their sense of values. Values to them are those that can be turned into hard cash if they are not or can't they are valueless. Diba sa panahon natin ngayon, guys, hindi ka naman pwede tumakbo. Requirements naman talaga yan sa na you can read and write. Pag tumakbo ka sa political position, diba? Pero dito nakalagay, he is successful if, in spite of his illiteracy, he wins a congressional or municipal seat. Pero imposibleng wala kang pinag-aralan dito sa Kasi anong gagawin mo sa congressional seats kung wala kang pinag-aralan, di ba? Okay. Values to them are, ulitin ko na lang, he is successful who earns a fast buck. He is successful who has made millions out of nothing. He is successful if, in spite of his illiteracy, he wins a congressional or municipal seat. The people as a whole have lost their sense of values. Values to them are those that can be turned into hard cash. If they are not or can't, they are valueless. There was a time when Filipinos looked up to their poets and thinkers, women to adore them and swooned over them in the privacy of their chamber. With the intrusion of materialism, they forgot their poets and thinkers. In fact, they ridiculed them as philosophers, in the sense Padre Damaso used the term. Poets are now described as patay-gutom, dead hungry, worthless creatures who live in dreams of what is not. Today, Since American influence is a continuing process, the Filipino is as confused as ever. The tragedy is that this confusion is mistaken for genius to acquire material positions. Okay, ulit. The tragedy is that this confusion is mistaken for genius to acquire material positions. Filipinos excel as imitators, but their imitation is usually limited to the semi aspect of American life. The good American traits are seldom, if ever, acquired. Here again, the movies have played an important role. Gangsterism, juvenile delinquency, promiscuous love affairs, betrayal, racketeering, graft, and corruption, all these have been brought to the Philippines through Hollywood. Not that there was no gangsterism or graft and corruption before, but the American films have made them popular. Bandolerismo or brigandage. There was during the Spanish regime, but American gangsterism, with its display of machine guns and even brilliant strategy, is something new to Filipino experience. Many of the social problems that plague Filipino society today are as much the result of the growth of urban centers as of the American movies. Bukas na itong guys, part 5, The Warriors. So for February 22, 2023. Yung tayo guys, so topic 22 natin is the Japanese occupation. Ang dami mong sumakop sa atin. Gusto sumakop sa atin? Una, Spaniards, almost 400 years. Tapos American. Tapos ito naman, Japanese. The Japanese naman. Ay, nako. Bye everyone. God bless.